Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. I am super pumped about our topic today because honestly, we're unlocking one of the absolute most foundational, powerful skills in web development, mastering DOM Traversal. Seriously, if you want to make a static page actually come alive, or if you want to reach right into your code and execute dynamic web updates instantly, you've got to know how to navigate the DOM. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can pinpoint and manipulate literally any element on your page using JavaScript. Let's get into it.
So here's our map for today's journey. We'll start with a welcome to the DOM tree, then we'll look at grabbing elements by class, diving deeper by tag name, pinpointing unique elements by ID, and finally, manipulating the web page.
Kicking things off with part 1, welcome to the DOM tree, and understanding the hierarchy.
The Document Object Model, or DOM, really just elegantly simplifies everything for us. It's a visual representation of your document's objects laid out in this hierarchical tree format. You can literally picture it in your head as a giant tree with branching paths. And as a developer, your primary goal? You've got to learn how to climb this tree. You need to be able to reach into this structure, climb the exact branch you want, grab a specific node, like a body tag, a div, or a heading, and then completely manipulate it using your JavaScript.
But, well, to climb a tree, you have to start at the roots, right? Everything in our traversal journey begins with the document object. It is, quite literally, the mother of all objects. Because it sits at the absolute very top of that hierarchical tree, the document is your root entry point for all traversal. All your elements, all those classes, they all live inside the document. So every single time we want to search for something on our page, we absolutely have to call our methods on the document object first.
Moving right along to part 2, grabbing elements by class using getElementsByClassName.
To grab the broad branches of our tree, we start with our root entry point, document. Use dot notation to call the method getElementsByClassName and then just pass on our target class, let's say content. This basically tells JavaScript, hey, go into the document and get me every single element that has the class name of content.
Now here's the crucial thing you've got to understand. What exactly is this method handing back to you? Notice that the method name is plural, getElements. Because it's plural, it doesn't just hand you back a single piece of text. No way. It returns an array, specifically an HTML collection, containing absolutely every single element on the page that matches that class. And here is the golden rule, especially if you're a beginner. Because it returns an array, you can't really do anything to it directly right out of the gate. You must store this query in a variable, like myContentDivs, so you can actually interact with that array later on in your script.
Let's jump into part 3, diving deeper by tag name, pinpointing specific tags.
We can actually take that myContentDivs variable we just made and chain another search right onto it. We specify an index in square brackets, say the number 1 to target the second div, and then we call .getElementsByTag h2. It's incredibly cool because instead of searching the whole document all over again, we're now only searching within that specific parent container to pinpoint an h2 tag. But watch out, because right here is where developers often get tripped up. Let's say there is only one single h2 tag inside that container. What do you actually get back? Well, remember, the method is getElementsByTagName. It's plural. So JavaScript is still going to return an array to you. Even if it only finds one element, it's designed to expect that there could be more. So to actually access your h2 content, you must specify the index. If it's the only one there, you absolutely have to specify the 0th position, index 0, to grab it out of that array.
All right, part 4, pinpointing unique elements by ID, getting direct access to unique nodes.
This perfectly illustrates a really fundamental difference in the tools we use. Plural methods, like the class or tag searches we just talked about, they cast a wide net and return an array. Singular methods, like getElementById, on the other hand, return a single, unique object.
The reason for this is beautifully simple. In HTML, IDs are strictly unique to each document. You should literally never have two elements with the exact same ID. And because JavaScript knows this, when you type document.getElementById page title, it isn't expecting any duplicates at all. It doesn't need to wrap the result up in an array. It just goes straight into the DOM, grabs that one single unique object, and hands it directly to you. You bypass the whole headache of array indexing entirely, which gives you incredibly direct, super fast manipulation.
Which brings us to part 5, manipulating the web page, bringing it all together.
So ask yourself this for a second. We've traversed the tree. We've used a class, a tag, or maybe an ID. We've successfully stored our element in a variable. Now what? How do we actually make the web page change?
Well, it all comes down to a highly structured procedural master plan. Step 1. You always start at the document root, that mother of all objects. Step 2. Use a selection method, whether that's by class name, tag name, or ID, to locate your target node. Step 3. Store that query in a variable so it's ready to use. And Step 4, the magic step, alter the properties of that variable. One of the most common and frankly most fun ways to do this is by calling the inner HTML method on your targeted node.
Let's actually look at that in action. If we have our h2 element safely stored in a variable called myh2, and we specify that 0th index to grab it out of the array, we can simply type .innerHTML equals yo ninjas. By running this exact script, you instantly reach into the DOM, strip out whatever text was originally sitting in that h2 tag, and swap it with yo ninjas. You update the UI in real time right before the user's eyes. And guys, that is the incredible power of dynamic web development.
Okay, let's lock in what we've learned today with some key technical takeaways. First up, return types absolutely matter. Always double-check if you're using a singular element method or a plural elements method. Plural means you're getting an array collection back, and you will have to specify an index. Singular means you get the object directly. Second, the hierarchy always starts at the document. You just cannot traverse without starting at the root. And third, always store your DOM queries in variables. Trust me on this one. It ensures your code stays organized, highly performant, and totally error-free as your projects scale up.
So you now possess the foundational knowledge to grab literally any node in the DOM tree and alter its content. You've totally conquered the HTML collection, the tag arrays, and the unique IDs. But replacing inner text? That is just the beginning. Imagine injecting entirely new HTML structures, changing CSS styles on the fly, or even animating elements dynamically. If you can do all of this just by mastering Traversal, what other insanely powerful methods are waiting out there to completely transform your web page? Keep exploring the DOM, keep writing clean variables, and as always, keep building incredible things. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next deep dive.